Tonight on To The Point, cutting back, why thousands in Nevada and Placer counties are now being told to conserve water and how long it could last.
Heavy rain and downpours pushing across the region. The impacts we're looking at this Easter weekend.
Plus, California's fast food workers are getting a new minimum wage, how it's already impacting local restaurants. And later on the back roads, we take you cross-country skiing in a remote part of the state.
But first, breaking news just into the newsroom. This is a live look at Sacramento's Oak Park neighborhood in the area of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near 15th Avenue. Police tell us they are looking for a wanted felony suspect who is believed to have ran away from police. Right now, officers say they have a suspect contained in a perimeter. People living in the area are asked to shelter in place. Traffic from 14th Avenue to 17th Avenue on MLK Boulevard, it is also closed. We have a crew right here on scene, and Sacramento Police's SWAT team also right there. You can see they are standing outside of their vehicle right now. They have already pulled out a dog, so this is a very active scene from what we know as well. They are calling on the suspect to come out. So we will continue to bring you more information as soon as we get it into the newsroom. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and you already know we have a lot of news to get to on this Friday, including the wet weather we're expecting this weekend. Just within the past hour, the Sacramento River Cats canceled their home opener game because of all this weather. So let's get right over to meteorologist Carly Gomez for what you need to know. Carly?
Yeah, we are looking at those downpours still pushing across our area, and heavy right now from Stockton to Modesto, as well as along I-5 toward Monterey. That nice solid line of orange-yellow is very intense downpours that are beginning to push through. Sacramento, Elk Grove got their fair share, but are still getting some pretty steady rain right now. Just on the back end of that, we'll get a small break within the next hour or so with scattered showers through tonight, but still the heavy downpours will continue for Sonora, Murphy's, Arnold, Jackson, Angels Camp, with a lot of the heavy snow transitioning from rain to snowfall there, right around 5,500 to 6,000 feet or so. We are expecting cold temperatures through tonight, so that'll continue to help with those snowfall rates. A winter storm warning in effect and a winter weather advisory along with a wind advisory. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, Carly, thank you. As Californians, we are used to conserving water, but right now, thousands of Placer and Nevada County residents are cutting back for very different reasons. Our Jeannie Nguyen spent the day in Nevada County to help explain why.
This reservoir supports water for consumptive and agriculture use for the residents of mostly northwestern Placer County and some of lower Nevada County.
But for the next few months, the water at Rawlins Lake will need to be conserved.
At the bottom of Lake Spalding is a power plant that is owned and managed and operated by the Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. They had an emergency infrastructure break.
The Nevada Irrigation District, or NID, says that break at Lake Spalding prevents water flow to Rawlins Lake, supplying their customers. On Wednesday, the Irrigation District asked its consumers to cut back on water use.
We're asking for a voluntary conservation of about 20% of their normal use of water.
One of NID's customers, Joe Fisher, is the ranch manager at Bruin Ranch.
It was like a kick in the stomach. We're on the heels of a decade-long or longer drought, periods of inconsistent water supply, which then creates angst for budgeting and production.
Fisher says he relies on raw water daily from Rawlins Lake between the months of April and October. While current weather conditions are bringing in more rain, he says the longer this infrastructure problem persists, the harder it is for him to stay hopeful.
We're going to be tightened in terms of supply back to drought scenarios. That's frustrating.
As we head into the warmer months, Rawlins Lake here is typically known for fun activities like boating. But NID officials say with this infrastructure problem, it could impact recreation use.
It will impact some of the boating docks and some of the launch facilities that are a little higher in elevation.
Right now, the NID says PG&E is expected to fix the issues by June 8th. In the meantime, water consumers like Fisher say he's hoping it gets fixed sooner than later.
And again, the NID says if PG&E isn't able to fix the issues by June 8th, they may have to enforce mandatory conservation. So we reached out to PG&E. They sent a statement saying in part, quote, PG&E is continuing to make necessary repairs as its Spalding 1 powerhouse regarding issues discovered during routine inspections earlier this month. We anticipate the powerhouse will be returned to service in mid-June. In other news, a man accused of attacking and kidnapping a woman in Rio Vista is under arrest. Officers say the man allegedly attacked a woman in a Fairfield Park Thursday, dragged her into a car, and then sped off. The woman and 2-year-old child were later freed after a chase, and the man faces several charges, including kidnapping, felony child endangerment, and misdemeanor domestic violence. And it's unclear if the man knew the woman and the child. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office has released new images of a second car that is believed to have hit a 13-year-old in Rancho Cordova. So take a look at your screen right now. This is the vehicle. The car is described as a silver sedan, and right now deputies are not calling this a hit and run. They say they just want to talk to the driver. The crash happened Wednesday night at the intersection of Zinfandel and International Drive. The girl was first hit by a truck, which stopped at the scene before she was hit by the second car. And a new project in Stockton is hoping to get unhoused people off the streets and into housing within 6 months. Officials held a groundbreaking this morning for the Pathway Project on the site of St. Mary's Community Services. And the new low barrier emergency shelter is expected to open by December and will be able to give temporary rooms to nearly 300 families and individuals. And the shelter will feature several services and common spaces to help people move out of homelessness.
With this as a resource, folks can quickly move out of whatever situation they're in into a safe environment that's safe and healthy. There'll be lots of options for different type of shelter beds. And then from then, our case management team can really work with individuals to find the resources that they need for that housing.
St. Mary's is also working on opening a navigation center, which is also expected to be completed this year. That center will be able to give shelter to 150 more people. Very exciting. All right, Governor Gavin Newsom says that hundreds of high-tech surveillance cameras are coming to the city of Oakland and surrounding freeways to help battle crime. And this comes after 120 California Highway Patrol officers were deployed to the area back in February. Newsom says about 480 cameras will be deployed on city streets and surrounding state freeways to identify and track suspect vehicles in real time. Now, opponents say the technology infringes on privacy and will lead to further police abuse to already marginalized communities. The largest crane on the eastern seaboard is now in Baltimore to help clear the wreckage from the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. And crews need to move the massive vessel before they can reopen the port, which officials have called vital to both the local and national economy. Moving the ship is a complex task. Sitting on top of it right now are millions of pounds of steel from the collapsed bridge. And it will be a round-the-clock effort that will be expensive and time-consuming to clear the wreckage and clear the crucial shipping lanes. And we want to go ahead and take you back out to Sacramento's Oak Park neighborhood in the area of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near 15th Avenue. Police tell us that they have detained the suspect that they were looking for in the area, and traffic is still closed off from 14th Avenue to 17th Avenue on MLK Boulevard as police continue to investigate. We will continue to follow this and bring you more information as soon as we get it into our newsroom. All right, still ahead on To the Point. Fast food workers are set to make $20 an hour starting on Monday. The impact that this could have on local businesses. Plus, a new proposal aimed at pushing power companies to change the way they calculate your bills.
Already 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts through the valley. How long these windy conditions will be sticking around?
Rain is just moving across our area, right, Carly?
Yeah, right now.
And if you are in Stockton and Modesto, you're probably feeling the brunt of it right now. It's still continuing through the evening, right?
Yeah, we've had downpours already through the Sacramento region for the last couple of hours now, and the winds have really begun picking up as well. Now, as we take a look at our live Doppler radar, you can actually see the very tail end of the portion of Sacramento, at least west Sac toward Fairfield, finally clearing up right now. And we may even see a little bit of light in your area. Otherwise, just down along I-5, starting to see some clearing. But areas just east of Stockton and hitting Hardin and Modesto are feeling it. Portions of the Tracy Triangle and along I-5. A lot of that beginning to move up into the foothill spots of Sonora, Murphy's, Angels Camp, and then up toward Placerville. Now, this will continue to pull its way up in the next hour or so, continuing to become heavy. But that's just adding to more of those snowfall totals for us into the overnight hours. So even though things are breaking up for the Sacramento area now, we're still looking at scattered showers through the overnight, early morning hours Saturday with thunderstorm chances Saturday. Heavy snowfall possible with 1 to 2 feet of snow still pushing through Sunday, as we'll see the winter storm warning in effect until at least 5 p.m. Sunday. The wind advisory here is going to be in effect until about 11 p.m. around the Sacramento area, but for further areas south, we could see it in effect until 5 a.m. on Saturday, and this also includes areas of Modesto and Stockton, which will be feeling some of the strong wind gusts into the morning hours. Just take a look. We get through tonight, things start slowing down just a bit for us around Sacramento, but 9 a.m. on Saturday, you're still getting that push through Stockton and Modesto there, and then finally slowing down for a Saturday night. Now, as things pass on through again, scattered showers are expected on and off into your Saturday with potential for thunderstorm chances, but it all pretty much clears out for your Sunday afternoon as things will become sunny as well as fairly average. We are looking at partly sunny conditions with about 66 degrees. And as you start your morning off, you may see a stray shower, so just prepare for that if you're heading out to maybe church or a Easter event there. Otherwise, by the afternoon, evening, we should start seeing some more of that sunshine for your Easter Sunday. And then finally, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, warming up into the mid to low 70s there. But after that, we're seeing sunshine still, but pushing those mid to low 60s through the following weekend.
All right, not looking bad for next week. I love the sunshine. All right, next on To The Point. As one group of workers gets a pay boost, another group is feeling the impacts. What you need to know about the new fast food minimum wage, plus a new proposal that could change how much you pay for your power bill. In just a few days, the controversial new minimum wage increase for some fast food workers in California will go into effect. Starting on Monday, April 1st, their hourly wage will go up to $20 an hour. But as ABC 10's Devin Truby explains, it's already having an impact on small businesses.
When fast food restaurants open their doors on Monday, their employees will be making the new minimum wage, $20 an hour, as Assembly Bill 610 goes into effect. This applies to restaurants with more than 60 locations, but it's one of the factors contributing to the closing of local business Pizza Bell in Elk Grove.
We aren't in that $20 an hour wage, but the fact that I have employees that's been here for 15 years, we naturally need to pay them more money as well.
Owner Patty Cox says it's just another factor taking a slice out of businesses' budgets. Increased rent, costs for food, and now having to pay more competitive wages.
I think it's a more thought process because you're asking a business person, a business owner, a manager, to pay someone that's 16 years old $20 an hour. I don't believe that minimum wage is to live on. I think it's an introductory to life, get a job experience.
The SEIU, the union for these workers, estimates the new wage will help more than 500,000 Californians and apply to 3,000 employers. But Governor Gavin Newsom has created some exemptions. This new wage will not apply to food places in amusement parks, airports, and hotels. Other exemptions include working at a fast food stand inside a grocery store who makes majority of their money off groceries. This complicated bill has left many restaurant owners scrambling at the deadline, wondering if it applies to them, with only this frequently asked question page for answers.
And for workers that think their wage is incorrect, they can contact the Labor Commissioner's office with a claim. However, that can take years to process while that department remains backlogged and understaffed. All right, let's talk about this. The way your energy bill is calculated could soon change. Right now, rates are calculated mostly based on how much power people use. But a new proposal by state regulators aims to change all of that. So instead of calculating bills based mostly on how much power people use, a portion would be a fixed charge. For most people, that charge would be about $24.15 per month. To offset this new charge, the new rate people pay for using power would allegedly go down. But one Republican senator we spoke to isn't convinced.
If we continue to raise rates in California, people are going to leave and can't afford it. And the really sad part is the people that the majority party says are trying to help, which is the working poor, consistently see their rates go up. If you want to do something for Californians, drive the rate of electricity down.
The governor's office says the CPUC's proposal of $24.15 is nearly 2/3 lower than what a utility company proposed and 30% less than what some customers in states like Texas and Florida already pay. Now, if this is approved by regulators, the rule would take effect in 2025. Customers wouldn't see the charge until later that year or in early 2026. It's Friday, which means it's time to hit the back road. So tonight, John Bartel takes us to do a little cross-country skiing on the Bizz Johnson Trail.
When you think about getting away from it all, this is a pretty good example of what you might be thinking of. At the southern end of the Cascade Mountains, where the Ponderosa and Jeffrey Pines meet the Susan River, is Lassen County's Bizz Johnson Trail.
I know it very well. I know a lot of the people who enjoy the trail. There are many, many regulars who are out here walking their dogs.
The Bizz Johnson Trail is surrounded by grandeur, but it's remote. And if you want to experience all of its beauty and history, I suggest tagging along with Stan Bales, recreation planner with the Bureau of Land Management.
You're the fun guy. You're the guy that plans out the fun.
That's the idea, to try and get people to enjoy public lands, use, share, and appreciate.
The Bizz, as it's known locally, is managed by the Lassen National Forest and the Bureau of Land Management. The trail is accessible year-round, but sometimes during a snowy winter, the trail is groomed for cross-country skiers.
But the trail climbs 1,300 feet going west, and so higher up and in the shading of the trees, it holds snow way into April and May sometimes.
The Bizz is pretty popular with skiers because it's relatively flat. The trail follows a former Southern Pacific Railroad grade built in 1913 and 1914.
It's a 25-mile railroad grade that was built to haul logs from the town of Westwood all the way back to Fernley in Nevada.
At one point, the town of Westwood was the nation's largest logging operation. It also is home to the giant lumberjack and fairy tale character Paul Bunyan.
And a big, strong guy. He had Babe the Blue Ox. They talked about how Babe could tow a whole section of land.
Logging in the Westwood area ended in the 1950s, and the rail line was abandoned shortly after. Then, in the 1980s, U.S. Representative Harold T. Bizz Johnson secured funding to convert the abandoned line into a recreation site. And in his honor, the trail was named after him.
So what do you say? He got us the money through an appropriation to buy out the railroad.
The tracks have been ripped out, but relics of the railroad still exist.
What are we coming up here?
This is the first tunnel.
This is one of the first railroad tunnels.
Yeah, there's only two.
There's no snow and it's pretty dark in the railroad tunnels, so you'll have to carry your skis through them, but it's a short walk. The railroad bridges, on the other hand, offer a fantastic view. The tallest is the Devil's Corral Trestle Bridge, and it takes you high above the Susan River.
270 feet long and 70 feet high off the river.
Stan has a special connection with the Bizz Johnson Trail. Back when he started working for the Bureau of Land Management in the 1970s, his first big job was helping to build the trail.
Certainly, it's one of the best things I've ever done. It's just a major accomplishment.
Stan and other federal workers have spent their lives building and maintaining the trail, and today it's one of Lassen County's biggest attractions. And in the fall, thousands of people come to run the Bizz Johnson Marathon.
I get great satisfaction at seeing people out here enjoying the trail.
From the Bizz Johnson Trail, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Now that is just absolutely beautiful. And if you have something in your town that you think would be a great road trip destination, make sure you let John know all about it. You can text your idea to 916-321-3310. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. As you just saw, all next week, the ABC 10 weather team will be joining us right here at 6:30 for their newest investigation called The Future of California's Water. So coming up on Monday, we take a deep dive into the complicated and outdated water rights system in the state. Right now, there are more than 7 million pieces of paper being held in a building in downtown that helps govern who has access to water. And did we mention they are all paper records? The system dates back to the gold rush, and using it in the face of climate change, well, it's challenging.
We're trying to be more adaptive in our management of the water in California so that we can get more out of it. To do that, there needs to be a real-time understanding of who's using what.
One of the questions we have to ask ourselves going forward is how do we give the water board the tools it needs to ensure that we've got enough water for everybody, while also respecting existing water rights so that everybody can continue to grow.
All next week, Monica, Rob, Brendan, and Carly are speaking to state officials and innovators about the issues surrounding water rights, growing food, recycling water, and desalination, and a whole lot more. So make sure you don't miss the future of California's water next week right here on To The Point at 6:30. Very excited. All right, that is our show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are people we just haven't gotten a chance to meet yet. So take some time to get to know someone this weekend. Have a great night. I'll see you Monday.